Hello, good evening. Welcome to Prime Business. I am Beverly Broom. A look at our stories now. The World Bank is projecting a 1.5% growth rate for Ghana in 2023. This was captured in its October 2023 Africa Pulse report. George Riafe has the rest of the story.
The projection is kind of similar to what the IMF has said about the country's growth outlook for this year. This is because the World Bank doesn't think that there will be much significant economic activities in the country that would impact on growth numbers by the end of 2023. But Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison, during a recent engagement with journalists after the Monetary Policy Committee meeting, maintained that based on their new data, the economy will grow by more than 3% by December this year. It is not clear for now whether the pickup in economic activities from July to September this year has impacted on the Bank of Ghana's revised GDP outlook. Some might link the World Bank's projection to the fact that things might not be turning around that fast as projected by government. Well, time will tell whether the Q3 numbers that we are experiencing could affect the overall growth numbers for 2023. The World Bank in its Africa Pulse report is also raising concerns about Ghana's deficit and whether there will be any significant reduction by the end of this year and even 2024. The World Bank in its Africa Pulse report is also raising concerns about Ghana's deficit and whether there will be any significant reduction this year and even in 2024.
Now, Economist Professor Ejapoma Jakedako is optimistic Ghana's inflation outlook will improve despite the rate of inflation remaining high. According to her, barring any unexpected shocks, inflation will take a nosedive despite the World Bank projecting inflation higher than 2022. She spoke earlier on the marketplace.
I am not so worried with the outlook on inflation, to be specific, because we see that if we're comparing this year to last year, we can see that one of the things that actually caused our inflation to soar had to do with the stability in our currency. Our currency was quite unstable. And this year we are seeing a bit of stability in there, and therefore we expect that that would feed into lower imported inflation, and that obviously would feed into the inflation that we would be experiencing. If you take a look at the posture of the Central Bank of Ghana, last month when they went for their MPC meeting, you saw that they are beginning to take a more accommodative posture towards growth. And since their analysis is usually a forward-looking one, you envisage that they are expecting their expectations about inflation is getting milder. So I'm not really worried about the outlook of World Bank as far as inflation is concerned. The only thing that would sway us off the gear may be if an unexpected fiscal measure is introduced, like what we saw somewhere in July. In July, we saw some disinflation. In June, thereabouts, we began to see some disinflation, and all of a sudden, we saw that measures in taxes were introduced, and those sort of threw off the projections that the Bank of Ghana probably may have done, and that caused inflation to soar again. So I'm not really worried about the outlook.
Now, procurement expert Dr. Kankson Bente is making a strong case for a change in Ghana's procurement system within the public sector. This comes on the back of comments from Economist Professor Peter Quartey that the current procurement system is fraught with corruption. Now, according to Dr. Bente, government should deepen its punitive measures on persons found to have breached the procurement laws.
We may have to go back to the basics, where we started from, where we have the Ghana National Procurement Agency and then the Ghana Supply Commission, where we isolate and transition every procurement activity in the public sector space. into what I'll refer to as a Ghana Government Procurement Organization. That organization should run its balance sheet and must report to Parliament. Therefore, you will have just two coordinators of a very lean team at each respective MNDA that will be responsible to coordinate procurement activities with the Ghana Government Procurement Organization, who will run its own balance sheet, and then we'll put in appropriate governance framework to category manage spend for each ministry and department. A master service agreement can be established to regulate how the services that are rendered by the Ghana Government Procurement Organization to the various MMDAs. So what it means is that you are taking away the actual procurement activity to an entity that will be set up by regulation, okay, to focus on executing procurement for government. We have a CEO there who reports to Parliament, and he will ensure performance and consequently manage bad behaviors as far as procurement is concerned. We can actualize real and enhance value for money from this particular framework. Okay. On top of it, we have technology that they will use to leverage. They will leverage to execute procurement in that regard. So a couple of things to be done. In the medium term, I've prescribed some measures that to be done, that is required to implement, that need to be operationalized to achieve this. In the medium to the long term, I think that we need to move procurement from the various MMDAs to an organization called the Ghana Government Procurement, which will run its own budget and regulated by regulation, but must report to Parliament. Maybe with a dotted line to the President. So we need to change the architecture and then reorchestrate how procurement is configured within the public sector.
Moving on, the Institute for Energy Securities is asking the Junior Staff Association of the Tema Oil Refinery and senior staff to engage and seek the interest of the refinery in the Tor and Torenco deal. Both associations are at loggerheads, with the junior staff opposing the deal. But speaking to Joy Business, Executive Director of IES, Nanam Wisida-7, said the interest of Tor must supersede the two groups.
Private sector participation is okay. However, it depends on who is partnering Tor and what the person brings on board. Will there be value for money? And for this deal, it's always go and hit a snag because it has failed to garner that type of staff support, and also the staff complain that it is not transparent in its current stage. And so they want to be brought on board to understand the technical and economic dimension of this. If that is done, I'm sure it could pass. But for now, the IES cannot, say that the Torenco deal is the best because it changes in forms, it changes in shapes every passing month. Until we see the final document, we cannot say it is the best. If you go into Tor, there are two key unions. The Chemical Workers Union have one. Then, of course, the UNICOF also on another side. If you count the number, you will have more than 60% of the staff on the side of the Chemical Workers Union as against the UNICOF. And even within the UNICOF, it's the leadership, as we understand, that is, for the deal. A deal that we don't have, the full handle on as to the detail in it. And the devil is always in the detail.
Okay.
And so it's a section of the staff that is backing it, not the entire staff.
Now, the Ghana Institution of Engineering has reiterated its commitment to promote and advance the training and practice of engineering for social good. President of the institution, Engineer Kwabena Bempon, said his outfit is seeking to partner other organizations to help create opportunities in traditional areas. He spoke to Joy Business at the signing of a memorandum of understanding between his outfit and the paramount chief of the Asin Orenchi traditional area, Nanapra Ajisiam VI.
The signing of the MOU between the institution and the paramount chief of Asin Orenchi Traditional Council is to complement the efforts of Ewunabubri Prajinsem VI to the development of the community into a historical and eco-friendly tourist attraction in the central region. President of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, Engineer Kwabena Bempon, said the institution is excited to providing its expertise and knowledge in ensuring that the vision of the community is achieved.
We want to have an engineer innovation center. I had so many things, they were easy. But like architects do, they take all that you are, we are dreamers. When you, as a client, you become a dreamer. You dream some of the things are probably you end up building in the sky. You build castles or skyscrapers in the sky, but they will try and bring you down to earth, and that is where he developed a design brief. And with the design brief, I shared with my council. Well, at the time, I was not yet the president, but then I shared with the president, engineer Professor Charles Anumadams, that this is what I would like to do in the future.
On this part, the paramount chief of Asin Orenchi Traditional Council, Hunabubri Prajinsem III, said the partnership has been established to making the vision for his community come through.
And I'm very impressed. I nearly lost hope this country because I made the mistake of following and having confidence in politicians until I met you guys. Every multimillionaire, civilized man or woman has a country home. Everyone. Because there is something outside the city that is good for the brain.
The EV will not only attract tourists, but also create employment opportunities, for which will contribute to economic growth for the area.
As part of this year's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, some stakeholders in the ecosystem are calling for the sensitization programs on cyber threats. According to the Executive Director of SLAM Foundation, Francisca Boateng, this is necessary to consolidate government's quest to curb cyber-related crimes. She spoke to Joy Business after a 3-day training on cybersecurity.
The training falls under the 1 Million campaign initiative aimed to significantly improve information, communications and technology, as well as cybersecurity literacy in Ghana. According to Francisca Boateng, the campaign seeks to equip 1 million people with introductory IT skills.
So the main focus is to bridge the gap, help people that normally will not be able to afford the training. So our goal is to bring people in from all diverse communities, especially the underprivileged, to take these courses, because as Duan said in her presentation, there's a skills gap of 4 million people when it comes to cybersecurity.
Chief Executive Officer of SLAM Technologies, Samuel Boateng, made a strong case for more investment within the space to create jobs.
So as we look into the advancements of technology in terms of cybersecurity, you mentioned AIs and then the machine learning, it's moving very fast, but then there has to be a regulations on this. So with our training, we bring it down so that everybody will learn, because you can Google everything from online, or you can put into perspective by searching the, something, and then the AI will give it to you. It doesn't mean that you know. And so we bring the students on board, and then we show them step by step how you can use the AI. AI probably doesn't have lifetime.
Director of DEI of ISC2, Duan Jones, explained the need for Ghana to expand its investment within the IT space.
Do things that you see here. So continuing to hold partnerships, to hold events, hold partnership trainings like this, to be able to showcase what we can do if we do it together, and to showcase all the opportunity that is here, to see that room full of so many students who are eager, they're ready, they're willing, and they want to be a part of the cyber ecosystem. That's what we want to see, especially someone coming from outside of the country, and it makes us want to come back and come back again.
The cybersecurity training was under the theme, Building a Secure Digital Future.
On that note, we end business tonight. For more business news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I am Beverly Broom. Sports is next. Please stay.